Alright, let's finish up this assignment, which is solving systems of equations using algebra. Let's move on to 10. I have two equations set up here, and really at this point I can just choose which method to use, because I could times the whole first thing by 2 or -2 or 6 or -6, but I can also go for substitution because this is really close to being set up for substitution. I'm going to do that. I'm going to show you what that would look like. So I'm going to take my first equation and solve for y, so I'm going to subtract x from both sides to get me y equals -x minus 8. And this guy is the same thing as what I started with. And now I have a substitution situation. I have y equaling something, so I can take that something and put it into the other equation. That would give me -6x plus 2, and then in parentheses the -8x minus 8, and then equals -24 at the end there. I now need to solve for x, so I'm going to distribute that 2 through to get -6x minus 2x minus 16 equals -24. I'm going to add 16 to both sides, trying to get my x's all by themselves. And while I'm at it, I'll combine those like terms there. -6x minus 2x is -8x. And on the right side, I'm going to get -8, because -24 plus 16 is -8. Now I just have to divide both sides by -8, and I'll get x equals 1. And now I know what x is, I can actually take that and plug it into my other equation there to figure out what y is. Y is equal to negative, and then x is 1, subtract 8. Well, negative of 1 is just -1, minus the 8, that'll give me -9, and y is equal to -9. So I get the point 1, -9 for 10. Moving on to 11. This one's already set up for substitution because y is -5x plus 3. So I'm going to just take that piece right there and put it where y is in my first equation. That'll give me 10x plus 2 times -5x plus 3, and then it equals 0 in the end. Multiply that 2 through to help me simplify things a bit. Now I got 10x. 2 times -5x is -10x. And then 2 times 3 is 6. Well, when I combine terms here, I get 0. There's no more x's. So I'm really at this equation of 6 equals 0, which is not true. So it doesn't matter what number you pick, it'll never be true. This guy is no solution, because nothing works. Bam. Moving on to 12, this guy is not really set up for any of the methods that we're to choose from, elimination or substitution, but we can really choose what we want. I'm going to choose to, I'm going to go for substitution again, because I see this second one is actually really close to being set up for substitution. Add 2x. I got 2y equal, add 4x, so 2y equals 4x plus 20, divide everything by 2 to get my y by itself. I now have y equals 2x plus 10. So this is my other equation. I know that y is 2x plus 10, so I can substitute that into my other equation to get 12x plus 3 and then times 2x plus 10. And that's going to equal -24. Distribute the 3 to get 12x plus 6x plus 30 equals -24 still. I'm going to get rid of that 30 and attempt to get my x's by themselves. And I'll combine the x's on the left side while I'm at it to get 18x equals, that's looking like a -54. And we're going to divide both sides by that 18. That's going to give me x equals, 54 divided by 18 is just 3. And make sure you keep the negative with it while you're at it. So x is -3. If I can actually write legibly. X equals -3. Well, now that I know what x is, I can take it and plug into my equation right there to get y equals 2 times -3 plus 10. And I can actually do that calculation. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Add the 10. Negative 6 plus 10 is 4, so y is 4. And now I got the point, negative 3, 4. So there's 12. Alright, moving on to 13 here. Our first one is actually really close to being set up for substitution, so I think I'm going to go for substitution, because all I have to do is add 3x to both sides. And that'll give me y equals 3x minus 9. So now I have y equaling something, and I can take this chunk and plug it into my other equation. So I'm going to do that. 5x plus 6 times 3x minus 9, that's 9, equals negative 8. So now I have this set up. All I have to do is solve for x. That requires me to distribute that 6 through. So now I'm looking at 5x plus 6 times 3x, which gives me 18x. And 6 times negative 9 is going to give me negative 54. On the right side, negative 8. I'm going to add the 54 so I can get my x's all by themselves. I'm going to do it on one side, do the other. And while I'm at it, I will combine like terms here. 5 plus 18x is going to give me 23x. And on the right side, negative 8 plus 54 is going to give me 46. And now that I have this, I can divide both sides by 23. And I will get x equals 2. And once I have that, I can take my 2 and plug it into my other equation. And that'll give me y equals 3 times 2 minus 9. Well, 3 times 2 is just 6. And 6 minus 9 is negative 3. So y is going to be negative 3, which gives me the point 2, negative 3. And there's my solution. Moving on to 14. Again, my first one's really close to being set up for substitution, so I'm just going to subtract 8x from both sides to get y equals negative 8x minus 7. And I know what y is equal to, negative 8x minus 7. So I can take that and substitute it into my other equation to get negative 5x minus 6 times negative 8x minus 7 equals negative 1. Don't forget what it's equal to. And now I need to solve for x, so I'm going to distribute that negative 6 through. Negative 5x. Negative 6 times negative 8 is positive 48. That's a 48. X. And negative 6 times negative 7 is positive 42. On the right side, I still got negative 1. I'm going to get rid of this 42 on the left side because I want my x's there. So I'm going to subtract 42 from both sides. And while I'm at it, I'll combine like terms on the left side. Negative 5x plus 48x is 43x. On the right side, I get negative 43. That's awfully convenient, because all I have to do is divide by 43 on both sides to get x equals negative 1. And now that I know what x is, I can take that and put into my other equation to get y equals negative 8, jeez, 8, negative 1, and then minus 7. Well, negative 8 times negative 1 is just 8. I need to subtract 7. Well, 8 minus 7 is just 1. So y is 1. And so now I have the point negative 1, 1 for my solution here. Moving on to 15. This one's actually not particularly set up for either, but I am noticing that here on my second one, everything's divisible by 5, which is the number in front of y. So I'm actually going to go for substitution again, because I can. That, by the way, that says plus 10x. So now I'm going to have on the left side 5y equals 10x plus 25. I just need to divide everything by 5 to get y equals 2x plus 5. And now I know what y is. And so I can take this 2x plus 5 section here and plug it into my other equation. Make sure you plug it into the other one. I got 9x plus 6 times 2x plus 5. On the right side I have 9. I need to get x by itself, so distribute that through. You'll have 9x plus 6 times 2x, which is 12x.
And 6 times 5 is 30, so plus 30, right side equals 9. I'm going to get my x's all gathered together and by themselves on that side, so I'm going to subtract 30 from both sides. Left side, I am looking at 21x, and then the right side, I'm looking at negative 21, because 9 minus 30 is negative 21. Divide both sides by 21 to get x all by itself, get rid of that number in front. We'll get x equals negative 1. Man, that's a lot like last time. I'm going to take that negative 1 and put it in my other equation. So I'm going to get y equals 2 times negative 1 plus 5. Well, 2 times negative 1 is just negative 2. Add 5 to that, that'll give you 3. So y is 3. And that's my other variable. Altogether they make negative 1, 3, and that's going to be my answer. And then finally 16. I could have this set up for elimination, and I think I'm going to do that this time just for the sake of showing you what elimination should look like, because I haven't done very much on this one. We need our coefficients to end up being the same, and to do that we're going to have to multiply both of our equations. Let's take this first one. And we need these ones to match. They'll be the easiest ones to match up. 3 and 2, well, if you want them to have the same coefficient, you take 3 times it by 2, take 2 times it by 3. So I'm going to take my first one times everything by 2, and I'm going to take my second one and times it by 3. And let's make it negative just so they have different signs for each equation. So my first one's going to have negative 14x plus 6y equals 54. And my second one is going to have negative 6x minus 6y equals positive 6. And now all I have to do is add my equations together, and I'll get 60 on the right side, 6y and negative 6y add to make 0y. So I'm not going to bother to write that. Negative 14 plus negative 6 is negative 20, and the x goes with it. And then you get x all by itself, so divide both sides by negative 20. You'll get x equals negative 3. So now you know what x is. You can take what it is and just plug it into one of your equations. I'm going to go back to this original one and plug it right there. And that's going to give me 2 times negative 3 plus 2y equals negative 2. 2 times negative 3 is just negative 6. And I'm going to get my y by itself by adding 6 to both sides to get 2y equals 4. Divide both sides by 2 to get y equals 2. So altogether I have negative 3, 2 for my point. And yeah, we're all done. Woohoo!